And we can get some siege ability. That sounds like a good deal. And we're still at 10 military tech. Korea's actually friendly to us. We could royal marry them and get an alliance at the end of this war. And I'm not sure what their behavior would be at that point. We could potentially drag them into some war and then attack each of these in turn. But I think they have them all guaranteed, so I'm not sure what that war could possibly be. I would like to start a second colony. We have the money to be able to afford it. But I'll have to take a closer look at the map and try to find the appropriate spot. Okay, let's try to make Muscovy happier. I don't fear many of our neighbors at this point, but I would like to fight them on our terms rather than theirs. And it looks like that'll be our peace deal. Muscovy is still neutral to us. Okay, I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but it looks like our best bet, so we'll see how things work out. Not capped out, and no discount, so we will hold the line. I think we can just keep troops here for the moment, and let that autonomy stay where it is. This one I don't want to leave troops on, as we do need to start working on another colony. So this has a high chance of producing fur. Fur. And more fur. With that in mind, I think I might start colonizing this direction to try getting up to Kamchatka. So we can make some more troops, and we're going to do so. It's 2,000, we can make another 2. And I think I'll make some more cavalry right here. With Korea friendly towards us and allied to Ming, I think I'm going to try driving a wedge between that friendship. And we're just going to top off those relations, as they now should be 6 away from max. And we'll take stock of what our options are. We now see this province, so that's good. This is really the critical one. We can simply move these troops over, no need for any sort of general. And that is unfortunate. So it looks like we will be at peace for some time. And I do want to renew this royal marriage. Just so that we can keep Ottomans thinking of us as a friend. And potentially at some point, if, for instance, this Negube Sibiria dies without an heir, we might end up getting the same dynasty, and that would secure a much better chance of an alliance. So we could rival Muscovy, but I just don't see any advantage in it. Our power projection is high, and we can keep it there. So I think our next move is to see if they can drag us into a war. Delhi does have some aspirations towards Indian territory of the Timurids, and not much towards the rest, so I think we could start claiming some of this territory as stuff that is rightfully ours, and hope that Delhi will drag us into a war later this year. Okay, we could get this idea, but it's not going to unlock our tax reforms yet, so we want this. Our legitimacy is pretty low. That's not ideal. And top off relations with Korea when we can. And there's our truce ending. So let's hope that Delhi knows what's right to do. Because the Timurids are facing revolts from their tribes. And that does mean that it may be in our interest to move troops down there. But I think we can wait until we see Delhi actually move troops along one of those borders. Otherwise, it's simply wishful thinking. Yeah, so we can choose to set up a new colony. Nice, Pelham is now visible to us. That won't fully close this off, as there's this territory, but that might be a wasteland that's colored in. So we could start up a colony here, but I think that would end up costing us some money. So we're just going to move them here to stand by. And we have to pay 300 ducats. That is not good. We're going to rob our merchant guilds to pay off some of that. I guess we will simply wait and reduce our autonomy where we can. We're going to gain some more piety. That might have been smart to reduce it when we changed. Yeah, we changed the Regency Council. That would have been an opportunity to reduce it and try catching up on tech. And there we are. So we are going to accept. And I don't want to fight rebels. while we're doing this, so we're simply going to start marching. Going to pay some money here. And I do worry about Ming invading right now. They don't like us, and they have lots of claims. It would be an opportunity for them to get their prestige up. And here's going to be a financial hit. So let's make the emirs like us a lot more. We will pay off those loans as quickly as possible. And the enemy armies are pitiful, but they may have large stacks of rebels around. Muscovy rivaled us, so we will return the favor as soon as we're not at war. And I'm curious what their armies are like. 63,000 troops. That is impressive. More than the Ottomans. So we really do need an Ottoman alliance. We have our general here. So we are going to put this guy in charge. He has no siege, but he does have respectable maneuvers. We'll take less attrition, and I'm comfortable with that. It also means that we can generally ignore river crossings. And it looks like probably Tabaristan has expanded at the expense of the Timurids, and I wouldn't be surprised if other powers are going to do that on a semi-regular basis. They already have low war enthusiasm. Things are not going to go well for them. So what's most essential here is that we actually do capture a fort. I'd like to fill in our map. This should be pretty quick. I don't really want to go any further south, as I can see that there are rebels, and those rebels could be here, so we're going to move around and actually go to a fort. Now, we'll take Chartres first. And so we have to alienate one of our estates. And it looks like we're going to alienate... Well, the merchant guilds will get over it. That way we don't have to spend our hard-earned admin. We have very happy emirs. Okay, there are rebels on Kabul, so there could be an independent Afghanistan very soon. We now have a discount here, and we're about to get a discount, or complete this. So we'll take that. You be ready to pay off those loans, and we will take a Morale of Armies advisor. Okay, Rebel Chance, Timurid Separatists, and Samarkand. So, while we're waiting for these rebels to do their business, we'll try to deal with our own threat of rebels. And our maps just expanded greatly. That is very good for us. I don't want to alienate France too badly by spying on them, so I think I will start spying on England. And once again, going up to Samarkand. Here's the Delhi is going to put down those brave Afghani rebels. So we're getting a little bit of spy power here. We're suffering attrition. We'll move them up here to Setsen. Okay, well, our heir is going to be killed as a new sultan emerges. Don't like losing that stability. We're actually going to buy it up. But I certainly do like having a ruler, and a very competent one at that. And we should be able to benefit from that Yar-can-do spy network in England and get a decreased cost by the time we have these points. .8, let's let it get up to 0.1 at least, there we are. And now we no longer have as much unbalanced research. We're going to increase that piety. Going to put in, should have done this before we tucked up. So, this region, sure, we'll add it in. I do want to see, this would add in a lot. Chances are some of this is going to be valuable, so we're going to add it in as a state. And might as well do that here as well. Okay, this will probably end up being valuable region. We'll probably get some of this over time. Oh, those rebels aren't quite suppressed yet. Oh, we need to give something else to our ulama. And this is very high autonomy. So we're going to have to core some of that. Give it a couple months. So Oman controls that capital. I think we're going to stop short here. Well, that's Afghan lands. The Khorassani separatists should not go into it. Unless there's something moving through. Okay, so where do we want to hand over? I'm thinking this would be good. So that is now going to our ulama. And they're happy with us. Now for those merchant guilds, if we give them something, they will get a little happier with us. And they already control our only center of trade that I'm aware of. We'll get this other one soon. And that should increase our force limit. It does, so we're going to buy another troop here. And we can now see Crimea. They have no allies, and they're taking over Theodoro. Muscovy does have troops moving around our borders. I'm not sure what they're doing. They don't seem to be massing up. I don't want to bother these rebels. Sadly, our war participation here is very low because we haven't done any sieging, and I don't think we've even engaged them in a battle. If they choose to give us anything, it will be generous, and that's just what we're going to hope for. In the meantime, we'll see if we can slaughter these small groups. That is actually giving us a pretty big jump, that's 6%. And we're now up from 1% to 11. Okay, did they give us anything? So, yes, Charjoy, Kokand, Kizil Su, and Graganj went to us. That is very good. And they owe us favors on top of that. So we're going to top off trust a little. That will make them much more likely to rally to our defense if we're attacked by Ming or by Muscovy. So we could go to war with Karakhanlu over Tabaristan, and that would allow us to get closer to the Ottomans. And I must confess that I'm rather fond of that idea. And we can get another 1,000 men here. Force limiter's 20, so I think we'll leave that army as it is. It really isn't going to stop any sort of Ming invasion. But it's better than nothing. Okay, now we're at peace, so I am going to follow through with our plan, and we are going to rival Muscovy. Oops. That's not my intention. Embargo them, stop a lot of that Asian trade from flowing into their coffers. And I'm guessing that this is one big wasteland. So Poland is hostile to Muscovy, their rivals, but Poland does not own Galicia Volhynia, who is actually a Muscovite ally. meaning that Muscovy is relatively doing well. Sometimes they underperform relative to Poland and Lithuania. This does not seem to be one of those times. Indeed, it appears that Muscovy has the largest army in the world. And being Eastern tech units, they are going to be better than ours. And they do have a lot of cavalry and a lot of artillery. But with that few infantry, they probably will take fairly heavy casualties as their front lines dissolve. But that really does depend on their generals, how well these cavalry do, and who they're fighting against. With us, I think their troops are going to be better. They've got offensive ideas, they've got high prestige, their tech is good. My money would be on them. In a war and on a troop-by-troop basis. So we will be planning their downfall. Gonna save up points, get rid of this overextension before we worry about filling in some of these in our mission. Still think it's fairly implausible that we would be able to take territory from Muscovy, but we are going to mark them of special interest and keep an eye on them. I took a bunch of new territory. I prefer if we don't have to increase the autonomy. I think we're in a position where we could put down those rebels if they pop up.